My name is Mara. I'm here with a very special video because today we are celebrating 10,000 subscribers. I can't believe it. But before we get to that, let me talk about what I'm doing. This is a little different of a video for me. I thought I would do a little craft with me session. In one of my videos, someone pointed out a magnet on my fridge and said it seemed kind of sad, and looking at it I can see where they're coming from. When I worked all day in an office, it was kind of funny to me to think about being a missing person because then no one would be able to bug me or interrupt me while I was working. But yeah, here at home, just on my fridge, maybe not as funny. I thought, well, let's see what I can find. So I went over to Etsy and I typed in inspirational saying magnets. I knew it would have to be something kind of unique. I struggle with some of the inspirational sayings because I feel like they're almost too positive in a way. I've had depression my whole life. So sometimes things like choose happiness. Yeah, if it were that easy, I would not have depression. I looked around for quite a bit and then I found the saying that I wanted to choose. And so I was looking at it and I thought, that's kind of small. I wondered what to do. And then I thought to myself, girl, you have a whole craft room. You could make your own little sign or magnet or whatever. My craft room is a garage that has been converted. In the summer, it's hotter than the rest of the house, and in the winter, which is right now for me, it is colder than the rest of the house. I do have an electric fireplace out there, but there's a lot of stuff in that room. I'm really going to need to clear some space around that fireplace before I can use it, just to be safe, because talk about fire hazard. I have a ton of paper in that room. What I did instead is I grabbed some supplies from the room and just brought them out to my living room and sat on the couch to put together my little sign. Now we've established what I'm doing, so let's get back to 10,000 subscribers. I posted my first video on this channel August 30th. I texted my sister and told her about it. She was my first subscriber, and then the channel just sat for a bit while I continued to clean. I got a few more subscribers. I remember thinking, oh, look, I've got 5 subscribers now. I remember meeting some friends for a get together and telling them about this endeavor and saying something like, I have 30 subscribers now. And it was so exciting to me. I thought if I was lucky, I would have 50 subscribers after a month. And then I started to get comments, and I opened them with a little bit of trepidation because I kind of thought maybe people are going to say stuff like, good on you for trying, but how can you live like this? This is terrible. This is so disgusting. How dare you subject our eyes to this horrible scene? But instead, the comments were so kind, and just everyone was so encouraging about the work I was doing, even though I thought, people would really want to see bigger, extravagant results of, whole rooms or how I decluttered my whole house in 3 days. But really, I knew that kind of channel was never going to be something I could do. That just wasn't me. And above all else, I wanted to be authentically me. Okay, yes, I do wear a mask. I know it's really an illusion of privacy because if you know who I am, you're going to recognize my voice. But it made me feel safer, more comfortable to have the mask. I've said before that I do plan to take it off at some point, and that's still my intention. So, yeah, time passed and I started to get more subscribers. And then all of a sudden, there was like this boom. And I don't know what happened. If YouTube was just like, well, let's give this person a boost. From comments, I've heard that word was starting to spread about my channel as well. And that helped. But yeah, all of a sudden, people were joining in the hundreds, and I was like, holy cow, so many people are watching. And just wait till they really get to know me, and then they'll all unsubscribe and disappear. But no, that didn't happen either, and the comments just continued to be overwhelmingly positive. And then I really felt like I was part of this amazing community, and I didn't know how I had managed to create it because I didn't really feel like I did create it. I created the content, but all of you were the ones who came along and turned it into just this amazing place to be. And I started thinking, oh, I'm excited to tell my community about, X or I just love how supportive you all are of not just me, but of each other. We're all in this together. I mean, the channel is called Peeling Away the Clutter, and I named it that because that's what I wanted to do with my life. But we're all peeling. All of us here are peeling away at something, and I absolutely love that. I love that we're all journeying together. Like, one of my favorite things to read in the comments is when people say, well, I watched your channel while I was decluttering my kitchen or whatever. I just think it's so great that we can declutter together. It's easier to do when you have company. It just is. I mean, and it needs to be non-judgmental company, but I definitely don't judge any of you. I know that many of you are in bad situations or have been in bad situations or are struggling. Some of you are thinking about wanting to be ready to declutter, but you don't feel quite ready yet. And that's okay too. We're here for all of you. And that's why I chose this saying to make a sign. The saying is, you were assigned this mountain to show others it can be moved. When I saw that saying, I thought, this is the message. This is the message that I want to convey. I remember looking at Clutter Mountain right in front of me on the couch, and it sat there for years while I prepared to tackle it and to move it. I was going through my video files and I looked at that Clutter Mountain footage. I understand why it was intimidating. I find it intimidating now to look at that before picture, but I decided I was going to move it. And when I didn't feel like I had the strength for myself to do it, I did it for my boys. And when I just was at my lowest, I would read your comments. I know I say it all the time, but I don't care. I'm so grateful for all that you do and for all of your support. I'm glad that you found me, and I would love to hear how you found me. Whether I just popped up in your YouTube feed one day in your recommended videos, or you found me through my collaboration with Bonnie at A Beautiful Mess. Bonnie's amazing. I would love to hear more. The thing I love about this community is how reciprocal it is. I hope that I can inspire you by moving my mountains, but I know that you also inspire me to keep going and keep working and keep striving. I was going through an Oracle deck that had just arrived. I ordered it a while back on Kickstarter. It's one of those sites where you order something or you back something and then they fulfill it later down the road. So that surprise popped up, and the first card that I drew was the one that said community. And I knew right away that it was saying that I have a good community here and I need to hang on to that. My subscriber count grew really fast for a while there, and then it was still growing, but that growth was slowing down a bit. So it was like I would get, 10 new subscribers a day or something. And so that was a little bit different too. I was like, well, okay. And of course, it's not about the number of subscribers, it's about the quality of the people. I love that this is a kind, compassionate corner on the internet. But lately we've had another boom, and so here we are. We hit 10,000 subscribers. So exciting. I love it. And I'm glad that you're part of it. Why don't I go ahead and talk a little bit about what I'm doing here? I have been a scrapbooker for decades now. It's something that I really enjoy doing so much. To create this page, I don't know how I'll use it. Maybe I'll turn it into a shadow box or something, some home decor. I initially went looking for a piece of 12 by 12 paper featuring a mountain, which I was unable to find. I found a field. I found a sunset. But I did not find a mountain. And I'm pretty sure there's a mountain somewhere, but I had this thought, oh, I should run out to the store and get some mountain paper. And then I was like, no, reason set in. No, you have 50 zillion pieces of paper. You don't need to have a mountain just to create this sign. So go ahead and find something else. And I found this nice piece of paper. It's got some little accents printed on there. And now I'm finding other accents that might coordinate. And I'm kind of looking for something that is in a similar style as the little flowers that you see on the right side of the page. Those are the ones that are printed on the paper, and I'm just looking for little die cut embellishments. I don't have any that are an exact match, but again, I'm just looking for kind of that whimsical style that you see there, and I do find a few that I'm going to work with. I turned to my alphabets to write the saying on the page, and I have a lot of alphabets. In fact, I kind of have everything in excess in my scrapbook room. Okay, if I'm going to keep it real, I lean to excess in just about everything I do. I had 3 options that I narrowed it down to when it came to the alphabets. There was a larger yellow one, there was a smaller green one, and then a smaller orange one. And I thought about using the orange, but I eventually decided against it because it was so vivid that it drew more attention than I wanted. But I do like the contrast of the larger yellow with the smaller green. When I'm doing a phrase on a scrapbook page, I do like to mix and match fonts like this. My logic for choosing which words were in yellow was I wanted the yellow to read as a full sentence if you just read the yellow alone without the green. So it was, you show others it can be moved. And that was my reasoning behind which letters I did with which font, which words. And then I just did the green for the rest. Next, it's time to figure out placement of these 2 little flowers. And I decide that I like having the orange pieces a little bit further apart. So I'm going to do that. And then I went for more supplies. Oh, goodness. My scrap room is such a mess. Uh, that is a mountain that will be moved, but that's a problem for future me. All right, I decided I wanted to go ahead and back this page onto another piece of paper, and I found this really pretty orange paper that I like. And I decide I want to just add a little visual interest by tearing instead of cutting the sides down. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Kind of into paper tearing right now. I go in phases with my crafting. I'm going to go ahead and adhere it. And then I'm going to place my flowers. And there's Clay. I was coaxing him to sit down beside me, my little cutie. Speaking of my little cutie, that's something else that I really love about our community is just how much you've embraced my dogs. I love it so much. It makes me really happy. I was telling Clay that he's famous, but he just wanted me to give him a chew. So I did. Don't worry, I did. I also decided that I wanted to shift that orange flower to the top of the page, and I'm going to write a little bit about the community and reaching 10K subscribers, and I'll put that toward the top by that flower to kind of even things out a little bit. The page itself is kind of bottom heavy right now. So I'm going to add some journaling at the top to add a little bit of visual weight up there too. It's time to finish this page. I decided, like I always decide when it comes to scrapbooking, that I need to add more stuff to this page. So I'm bringing in some washi tape. I'm putting that at the top and the bottom. It's just serving as a little bit of an anchor for the flower embellishments. I also want to add something to this little circle, which is part of the design on this paper. So I'm just going to put 10K in that little circle. I like the idea of marking these milestones with projects, so I think I'm going to do that in the future. Now I'm just grabbing the K to put at the end of the letters or the numbers 10. And Clay is really cleaning himself good today. My cutie. Next, I'm going to go ahead and realign everything because I tend to do that when I scrapbook. And now I'm going to do some journaling. I'm going to put the journaling toward that top flower, and the journaling reads, I started my channel with low expectations, but after only 4 months, I've accomplished more than I ever expected, and 10K people have joined the journey. I'm so grateful. I have to tell you, it was so nice to get back into scrapbooking. That is, well, it has been a regular part of my stress reliever. It's my big creative outlet. So when I stopped scrapbooking earlier this year, it did take a bit of a toll on me, I think. But on the other hand, I kind of felt like I had to stop because I would go into the scrapbook room and I would just get so frustrated by how few of my supplies I was able to access. And there are some things I could find very easily, but many, 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 many more things that I just wasn't sure where they were. And I would get, instead of it relieving stress, it was causing stress. That's the real reason why I hit pause on scrapbooking for now. And I'm just adding a few of these little puffy stickers. They have a little bit of dimension to them, which is kind of fun. I was a little bit sad that I didn't have access to more of my supplies, but honestly, this page looks great. I'm really happy with how it turned out. It was also nice to do a bit of scrapbooking again. That's such a lifelong love for me. I've been doing it for decades. You can imagine that in that time period, I have had a lot of time to accumulate supplies. It's going to be a challenge to go through and declutter that specific room, but that's okay. I'm going to get to it, and by then I hope to have really built up those decluttering muscles even more, because I am really going to need it for sure. And now I want to hear from you. Please share in the comments about what crafts you enjoy doing. Is it drawing? Is it knitting, crocheting, sewing? Whatever it is, I want to hear. Thank you again so much for subscribing to this channel and for being part of this community. It wouldn't be the same without you, and I really mean that, and hope that you can feel that I mean that. I'm going to keep on going. There's a lot of clutter to peel away left in this house. I've gotten a few rooms accomplished with people's help and with your encouragement, so I am going to keep on going. I am wrapping up this page and I'm going to show it to you so you can see it a little bit better. It'll be in a close-up here. We all have mountains that we wish weren't there. In my case, it was literal piles of clutter, and you might have piles of your own that feel like mountains that you wish you could move. And I just want to say that the one thing that I've learned through this process is that they can. We can move our mountains. And we just need to do it a little bit at a time. Thank you so much. All right, coming soon. We are starting on my bedroom. I've got so many clothes to go through. Laundry for days. So join me and we will peel away that clutter.